are, where we interview a different Hellenic polytheist every single episode. And today, I'm very happy to have with me one of my friends on Discord, Sabrina. So, what is up, Sabrina? How you doing today?
Nervous, but I'm doing fine. Woke up in a bit of a daze, but I'm doing fine.
No, it's good. It's all good. And what I want to comment on is your altar. I love that statue of Aphrodite. I have the same one, except mine is the bronze cast statue. I really love it. I think it looks better as the way you have it than what mine does, actually.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, two of her little doves broke off sadly, but I gotta glue them on.
It's, mine too. Mine too.
Really?
It's a flaw in the design, I think, because when I moved from the apartment to this house, I had even bubble wrapped a dove or two broke off, and I had to glue it glue it back on. So I hear you.
Yeah.
And the nice little kitty cat back there.
Yeah, there's actually a reason that's there. I mean, I could briefly mention it, but there's basically a myth where Aphrodite turns a cat into a woman. But
Really?
yeah.
So do you want to tell that story real fast before we get started? Because I don't think I've ever heard that story before.
Well, I mean, you can find the explanation on YouTube, really, but basically, there's this cat that really loves her owner.
Hmm.
So the cat prays to Aphrodite to turn her into a woman so that she can marry the owner. But at the very end of the myth, they end up trying to get married because they fall in love with each other. And the woman starts chasing a mouse on the floor at the wedding reception. And then she gets turned back into a cat. And I guess the moral of the story was we're meant to be what we are.
Right. I love that story. I've never heard that before. That's hilarious. We were talking yesterday about things that should be turned into movies or TV. I 100% that should be an episode somewhere. That just sounds like a comedy movie of a short at least. Now maybe not just a movie. If you could just do a 10-minute short, I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. So the first question that we're going to ask today is, what does Hellenic polytheism mean to you, Sabrina?
Okay, so for me, it's all about the relationship that you build with the divine. Uh, I'm not as much of a stickler for doing traditions to a T or anything. I know a lot of people are, but for me, I take what works and I leave what doesn't. And for me, the relationship is the most important part in any sort of spirituality, really. Um, I think the one thing we can learn from the gods themselves is that you we don't honor a doctrine or a religion or a system. We honor the gods, and it doesn't matter how we do that, really.
That's right. 100% agree. It's all about the connection that we have to the divine. You don't have to be a follower by the book 100% to have a relationship with the gods. So 100% agree with that. That our spiritual path is not the same as mainstreams where they have a Bible that they have to try to stick to for. So 100%. And by the way, Sabrina, you have some fans that are commenting, by the way, that saying that they are happy to finally hear your voice. Aphrodite Child being one of them. She said hi to you, and is glad to finally hear you, is what she said.
Well, hello, things.
So, how long have you been a worshiper of the gods and a Hellenic polytheist?
So, well, it's gonna sound like a rookie number, but only about a year and a half,
Oh,
actually.
that's not too bad. That's not
Yeah,
bad at all.
and it all started. I mean, I guess I can go into like kind of
For sure. That's the
origin.
next question. So yeah.
So, without getting too into my past, you can insert like a basic pagan origin story here.
Hmm.
Born and raised Christian, yada yada yada. But
Yeah, yeah, right. As most
um,
of us, yes.
so I obviously didn't have very good experiences within that path, and I ended up at one point not believing in anything, even though there was a time when I was in high school where I did pray to a God, and I didn't know which one, but I just prayed to a God, and I said, whatever is out there, if you're out there, please help me, because I had a friend at the time who had went missing in high school, and I said, if there's any divine out there, make yourself known to me. Please let my friend show up at school the next morning. And I walked into school, and without a doubt, with the friend was there.
Hmm.
So I at that point I knew that there was some sort of divine out there, but I just didn't know who it was. And nowadays I'm starting to think that that was Aphrodite.
Hmm.
And part of the reason I started honoring her in particular is I was, this is fast forwarding to a year and a half ago, um, where I was experiencing really bad sleep paralysis attacks, but they were more spiritual than what the normal person would experience with sleep paralysis. Like I would wake up and I would see like figures and shadows, and the one that got me to seek divine protection in the beginning with is I had this figure round the corner of my bed after a sleep paralysis attack that it looked like it was like skinned alive or something. It was grotesque,
Hmm.
and it terrified me to no end. Obviously, so I asked a pagan friend who knew about how to deal with spirits and stuff, and they said, "Well, you could get like black tourmaline crystals." So I got some of those, and you could get this and that, or you could pray to a deity that you work with or something. And at the time, I didn't know anything about that. I was like, wait a second, isn't there supposed to be only one God? I was so
Right.
brainwashed at the time, and I figured, she started mentioning that, oh well, teach their own, but I work with Persephone and Hecate and Aphrodite, and when she said Aphrodite, I was like, hold the phone. I'm going to pray to her right now, because I
Mhm.
felt that I felt like she was like, I don't know, it's like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Get over here, that's what it felt like.
Hashtag relate. I get it. I
Yeah,
got, but
so yeah, what's that?
no, I was going to say that it seems to be that's the story that all of us share is that there's always some god or goddess that really just captures our attention. With you, it was Aphrodite. As gods were listed, you heard Aphrodite's name, and you're like, "Yep, that's it." Like for me, it was Apollo. When I read he was the god of truth, and it just seems to be a common theme that we share.
Yeah, I can agree.
So, how would you say? Well, before I go there, speaking of sleep paralysis, it reminded me of a documentary called "The Nightmare." Have you ever heard of that documentary before?
I haven't actually.
You should. I don't know if you should check it out or not, but it's about people who are sharing their stories of sleep paralysis, and they talk in the documentary about seeing shadowy figures and creatures and things, and they can't move because of sleep paralysis. It's a horrifying and scary documentary that I think it's one of the scariest things I've ever heard. So,
Wow.
like I said, I don't know if I'd recommend you see it or not, but that documentary is out there for people that are interested in what Sabrina was talking about. They have actually made a documentary about that called The Nightmare.
I might check it out. Well, it might be more of a horror film than me for. I mean, I've seen Paranormal Activity, I've seen The Exorcist and stuff. Those were no
Yeah,
problem for me.
yeah,
But I don't know. This one might actually be a horror film for me. So,
it was for me. Yeah, it is bone chilling. Like I barely made it through. It was
um,
pretty. It was good. So, how the final question is, how has Hellenic polytheism changed your life?
so okay, how do I answer this in the most flowy way that makes sense? So after I began to uh, pray to Aphrodite and ask her for her protection and sleep and stuff, which is interesting in itself because normally, typically, that sleep isn't really associated with her. But
Hmm.
for some reason, I said, well, she's got love, beauty, and many, many other things. Um, there's something calming about that, and being calm while you sleep is uh, something to cherish. So,
That we take for granted. We do.
yeah. So I asked her every night to protect me in my sleep and
Mhm.
give me calm dreams and to wish away the nightmares for me. And I do still get sleep paralysis, but um, not to the extent that I was before I came into Hellenic polytheism and honoring her. And I find my mind, when I do slip into these sleep paralysis attacks, it, it kind of subconsciously says, like, Aphrodite, help me. And I notice that I'm pulled out of that sleep paralysis
Mhm.
quicker than I ever was before I even started honoring her. So she's almost like a guardian angel, but I'd say she's like a guardian angel for all of us.
It's fantastic. I love that story. I love how she does that for you. And that's something that my friend and I talk about all the time is how Aphrodite is more than just the goddess of love, that she is the goddess of so many other things that are listed and unlisted just from people's personal experience. So that makes me happy
Yeah,
to hear of how much she's helped you out in just your sleep. Because, like I said, we just take that for granted. Because there are people that have a hard time just doing that.
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, she's like, to me, she's like the mother of life
Mhm.
itself. So I kind of honor her like they would in like uh, Pompeii. Is they seen her as like the main creator deity of life itself. Um, I mean, there, there's more like not so age appropriate
Oh,
areas of her, but that all goes into life. So
oh yeah. So we're gonna have an upcoming show of mythical musings that's gonna go into that kind of stuff. So you're gonna hear an earful of that. And so it's something, something. Yeah, it's gonna be something. We'll just say that. But yes, I agree with you for sure. And I also noticed about Aphrodite that you mentioned to me that you have also read the book Venus and Aphrodite. What did you think of that book?
I actually wasn't expecting to get asked about that, but I am glad
I
you
know.
did.
I'm full of surprises.
Uh, how do I zoom out of this? Damn it. Oops. I didn't mean to say that. I don't know how to zoom out. But,
It's all
oh, there we
good.
go.
It's all good.
Um, so I actually thought that book was like really, really good. I enjoyed it. I actually, ironically, would lay down in my bed and read that book before sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was another nudge to myself that, hey, maybe she's really helping me with my sleep.
That's awesome.
So I thought the history and the findings in that book were fascinating. With how, well, you brought up in the Discord the other day how sometimes she's depicted as a man, which
Yes.
was mind-boggling for me at first, but I can see that. There is actually, I don't know, I think it, okay, I don't want to name drop anyone, but someone we both know, I think, had told me this, but apparently her phallus in her male form represents protection and the warding off of evil.
Yep. Which is interesting that even the gods don't have to play by the rules of being one or the other, that they can represent themselves as male or female as they choose. But yes, our friend did say that. Yep.
Yeah.
So again, I really like that altar. I keep looking at it. It's very simple, but it's also very beautiful too. I really like it, Sabrina.
Yeah, thanks.
And I think that you have a lot of fans after this episode, because I'm seeing comments of how much your voice is so calming and stuff. So I think you have a future if you want to do a video yourself one day. I think that people would enjoy hearing your side of the story, because you have an interesting story to tell.
I never knew my voice was that calming. That's nice.
It's someone said that you are awesome, is what someone just posted. So
Oh, well, thanks. That's
compared to mine, I guess it can be calming. Mine's kind of the opposite of calming sometimes.
Well, I'm calming right now. I can't really say I'm always calm when I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
My video game self doesn't reflect my real life self. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's when the rage comes out. Is you just take it out on the game. I hear you. So where else can we find you, Sabrina, if we're wanting to look for you?
So, I mean, if you're in the Discord, in Pick the Pagans Discord, you can find me. My name is just Sabrina, and it's surrounded by hearts. But if you aren't in the Discord and you maybe want to see more of me, I do have a small pagan channel that I started a long time ago called Prayers to the Theoi.
Oh, okay.
Which I do have a prayer to Aphrodite up there, but I don't know what I'm going to do with that channel just yet. I have to think about that. And I'm also on Twitch as Savvy Source 101. But be warned, my friends they swear like sailors. So, and even I do sometimes, because sometimes games frustrate me. So.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that's a stranger. The notion's not a stranger to any of us watching this video right now. I can tell you. But I can tell you also that, again, I'm very happy to have had you on, Sabrina. You did an awesome job. And I think, like I said, that it was really nice to hear your side of the story. I've learned so much today that I didn't know about you, and I'm happy you were able to open up and share all that.
Yeah, thanks. It was a nice experience to be able to talk one-on-one for once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And so that's it. That's as painless as it is. And I thank you again, Sabrina. And we will do another episode of the Hellenic Polytheists We Are, and probably next week or the week after. And we'll find out who the next guest is going to be. But I have a few lined up. And I want to thank you one more time, Sabrina, for joining me today.
I just tucked my headphones by mistake. You're welcome.
All right.
It was an honor.
All right. I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.